Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We have students from all over Michigan. Like I said, my name is Amy Vondrasek, and I work for United Dairy Industry of Michigan. We are excited to work with dairy farmers throughout Michigan to bring you these virtual farm tours. Just a reminder that if you have questions during the tour, use the Q&A box to type in your questions. You can also like a question by clicking on the thumbs up. We will answer the questions you type in, as many as we can get to anyway, throughout the tour. Also, our tour is being recorded and a link will be provided to you to the YouTube video. Today we are at Walnutdale Farms in Western Michigan. Our tour today will focus on calves, or the babies. We'll see how the cows are milked. It's kind of like a merry-go-round or carousel. And we'll also learn how the cows are cared for. So we're going to go out now and find Farmer Aubrey. Good morning, Aubrey.
Good morning. Happy to have all you guys here with us today. I'm excited to show you our cows and how we take really good care of them. So I'll tell you a little bit about our farm here. My name is Aubrey and I do this with my dad. I am the 4th generation on our farm. So this is a long-standing operation. We milk 1,600 cows here. And we grow all our feed for our cows to eat, and we truck all our milk. So we haul all our milk that leaves this farm as well. We have other family members involved in the farm doing work with the tractors. I work with the cows and all the people who work here. I'm in charge of all of them. So I am excited to show you. Let's head in the parlor and I can explain to you and show you how our cows are milked.
So Aubrey, you mentioned that people in your family help at the farm. Do you also employ people from the community?
We do. We have about 35 employees that work at this farm from outside the family.
That's
so as
great.
we're, yes, as we come in the parlor here, you can see the cows on this side here that are starting to be milked. If we head this way a little bit, so we can see there's a line of cows right here and they're trying to come into the parlor. So a cow gets to come on one at a time. Every about 13 seconds, a spot opens up for a cow to walk forward. And as you can see, our parlor moves in a circle, kind of like if you were to ride on a carousel. The cows are so excited to get to be able to come in here and be milked and get to take a ride. They usually know when it's time for them to come up to the parlor because we milk our cows 3 times a day and it's always at the same time. Cows like things to be the same every day. So we milk them at the same times. So they come in here and walk on, and we have specific protocols that we have in place to ensure that we keep our cows healthy and that the milk that comes out of our cows is clean and good for us to drink. So the first gentleman here that works for me, he wipes each teat, which a cow has 4 teats to her udder. He wipes it to get any dirt or sand off, and then he takes the cup that has the orange foam in it, which is like a cleaner, a type of soap, you could say, and he dips that on her teeth. And then the cow just kind of gets to ride until she reaches the other gentleman down here. Once they've had about 90 seconds to come down to our next spot, and we need a little bit of time in between when we put the soap on and when we wipe it off. Kind of like when we wash our hands, we have to make sure we scrub long enough. We need to make sure that the special soap will kill any bacteria that's on the cow's teeth. So then he takes another towel and wipes off the soap to clean the teat before he attaches the machine as he's doing right now. So he pushes a little lever, which makes the air start to suck in the machine, and that's what attaches it to the cow. And then you can see the yellowish clear cup right there underneath the cow. That's the milk starting to come out. as it milks her. So we milk our cows 3 times a day, and each cow here averages about 85, 86 pounds of milk a day, which is about 10 gallons of milk a day per cow. Now there's some that will milk a lot more, and there's some that will milk less, but on average, that is how much milk these cows give. It takes a cow about 5 to 6 minutes to go around this parlor and to be milked out. We got to make sure we get all the milk out of them to make sure their udder stays healthy. And groups, just the cows coming in this parlor never stop. We just keep putting group after group in here to get all the cows through the parlor 3 times a day. So as the cows keep turning this way and spinning, they just get to stand there and hang out. They're pretty content and happy when they get to ride on here.
That looks like a fun merry-go-round to be on. Her
Yes.
carousel.
Yes. They get excited for their turn.
What other animals do you have on your farm, Aubrey?
We just have cows. We have a few horses, but that's pretty much it. Just a lot of cows. So as we come to this side, we can see here that some of the machines are off now. So when they come to this side, the gentleman on over here, his job is to make sure we take the machine off when the cow is done. We don't want to over milk the cow. So when her milk is done, we take them off. And as you can see, he's putting on another type of soap. This is an iodine that's brown. And this will protect the cow for when she goes back to her pen, back to her barn, and lays down in her stall where she gets to rest. She lays on sand bedding, and we got to make sure that we don't let any bacteria up in her teat while it closes down after she's milked. So depending on how much milk the cow gives, her machine might come off farther to one side, or if she has a lot of milk, it will come off closer to where the cows get off the parlor.
Aubrey, we've had someone ask if you milk cows at night or just during the day.
Yes, so here at our farm, we milk around the clock. We milk 24 hours a day. So our first milking starts at 7 and goes till about 1:30. And then we milk from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until about 9:30, and then we start again at 11 p.m. In between those times, it gives us time to shut down. We wash the entire exterior of the parlor with soap and water and brushes, and we hook up all the machines to be all washed inside. So when we're not milking cows for the four-ish hours a day, we're washing the parlor. So we keep everything nice and clean. So we have people here milking in this parlor 24 hours a day. So the farming here never stops, really. We've always got something going on. And we start pretty early. Our guys that milk, they start at 6 in the morning. And the guys that help take care of my cows, they start at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So when some of us are still sleeping, we start taking care of these girls. So as the cows continue to move this way, you can see that they get to a point where they're allowed to just back off. And they get trained after a couple times, and they know what they're supposed to do. So they'll back off, and then they can kind of hang out a little bit if they want. And then they start making their way back to the group they came from. Cows really are creatures of habit, so they know where they came from. They know where their group is. And this is just something they do every day, a few times a day. So they'll back off and start heading back to their group.
How many cows
go ahead.
How many cows are on the carousel?
Okay, so this is a 50 stall. So at one time, there's 50 cows on here at once.
And how many cows did you say you have on your farm again? We've had that.
We milk 1,600.
1,600. That's a lot.
Yep. It is. It is a lot.
That's a lot. But in that
But
carousel,
these cows are very important to us, and everything we do here is around how we can take care of them the best. Because the better we take care of these cows, the more comfortable we make them. Even in the parlor, it's nice and calm, and we have fans in here, making sure that they're comfortable. Because these girls really are the heartbeat of what we do here, and they're very important to us. So we took a video a couple weeks ago of where our milk goes and where it's how it's cooled and stored. So we're going to show that now.
oh, that would be great. Thanks, Aubrey.
Yep.
Okay, so as we head into our milk house, we're going to talk about what we do with the milk. Once it comes in from our parlor through this pipe that we see coming in here, it goes into these filters, and that makes sure that the milk is clean. So the filters that we use look like this, and it catches any fine particles, sand, or other things that our towels do not get off the cow's udder. We want to make sure that the milk is clean. Once it leaves those filters, it goes into this pipe and into our plate cooler, which is tucked behind here, and that takes the heat out of the milk and exchanges it with water. And as you can see, now it comes down this pipe. There's condensation on that pipe because at this point now the milk was 101 when it comes out of the cow, and at this point now the milk is 32 degrees. It continues to run down this pipe and then over into this big tank that we call our bulk tank. This can hold 80,000 pounds of milk. And so it sits in there, and then we pump it from that tank out to the trucks that come to haul the milk. And we just do that with this pump and these tubes that lay on the floor here.
That was a great video. Thank you, Aubrey. Where does the milk
Yes.
go from there?
So when the milk leaves here, it goes to a couple different places, but a main place it goes to is over by Novi. There's a place called Guernsey Farms Dairy, and we supply all their milk for their bottling, their ice cream, and all of that. So if any of you watching today are from around there, that's the milk they use comes from here. So if you ever consume any of it, which I hope you do, you know where it came from.
So that milk is a good that your farm produces for our for everyone, for the students and for their parents and the families. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. In the milk here, you know, when we have sick cows, which sometimes we do have sick cows, we pull those cows into a special group where we can take extra care of them, and that milk is always discarded. And we run tests to make sure here before the milk leaves that there's no antibiotics in it, because sometimes, just like us as people, we get sick and need some medicine. So we want our cows to feel good, so we'll treat them, but that milk never gets anywhere where it would ever leave the farm. And we make sure of that, and wherever the milk goes, they also test it as well before they unload it. So there's nothing to worry about that your milk would not be safe to drink, because that's our main goal here too. We want to make the best milk we can for our consumers, which is you guys. And we want to make sure that everybody's getting their 2.5 servings a day, because we enjoy making it for you, and we want you guys to enjoy consuming it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I know we're going to get ready to look at the calves, but while we do that, what's one of your favorite healthy snacks that you like, Aubrey?
I really like cheese. Cheese is good, and it's good for you.
Absolutely. Well, I would love to see the baby cows now. Can you show us and tell us a little bit about the calves on your farm?
Yeah, okay, so I think we're going to show another video that we took, photos that we took before, so we can go through those. So our calves are born, and when they're born, they get a tag, so we know their number and everything, and then they get moved into a little plastic house, which is a hutch. And that number is important that they get in their ear, because that's how we keep track of all their vaccinations and all of that. Just like babies, when they're born, we got to keep track of a lot of things. And then they're bedded with some like ground up wood to keep them dry. They get fed, so we call that sawdust or shavings. We feed them milk twice a day, in the morning and at night, and they get fed milk for about 8 weeks. And in between their milk feedings, they'll get grain, a pellet, and then they get water. And they get that free choice as much as they want to eat or drink of that. And that's important to help them to grow and get them ready for when they don't get milk anymore. Kind of like babies when they stop getting milk. And then from the houses that we call hutches, where they're by themselves, they'll go into a group pen as we start to transition them to get used to being in with their herd. And we have a couple different breeds of cows here. So we have black and white ones, which are Holsteins. And as you can kind of maybe have already seen, all of them look different, kind of like people. They all have different markings, and some maybe are more black and some are more white. They all kind of come out different, and it's kind of fun. And then we have the brown ones, which have been in some of these pictures, and those are the Jersey. We milk them on a different farm, but Jersey breed is high in fat and protein, and so their milk a lot of times goes for cheese, where the Holstein milk is more what you'll just drink and stuff like that. Both great things to consume, just different in how they're made. So that's kind of the calves. And so if we kind of move back to where our cows get to live. So we saw them in the parlor being milked, and when they're done being milked, they just come right back out to their group where they get to live, basically. So these cows were all just milked, and they come back here, and what they like to do after they're milked is they like to eat and they like to get a drink. We grow most all the feed that's in front of them here on the farm. We grow all the corn and all the hay. We bring in a bunch of vitamins and minerals, just like us humans. We got to make sure we're getting all the vitamins and minerals we need. There's ground corn in here. There is some canola. There's a bunch of different things, but we have a computer program that helps us decide what needs to all go in here, and it's kind of like a recipe for making cookies. You got to have the right of this and the right of that and balance it so that all the cow's needs are met. So we have a big truck and all this stuff goes in it, and it's like a big mixer bowl, and it mixes it all together. And so the cows get fed that twice a day, and cows eat about 54 pounds of feed a day, and that's how they make us milk. If we feed them good quality feed and take really good care of them, they stay healthy and they make milk for us. Water is very important too in these groups. There's 3 waters. They got to consume a lot of water. Cows need a lot of water. Right now, we have all the sides of the barn up, the doors up. Fans are running right now this morning. This is nice and open, and we get air moving through here in the summer to keep the cows cool. But as it starts to get colder and we head into winter here in Michigan, the sides will come down, fans are off, the end doors will come down to keep the snow from blowing and the cold out of here. So like I said, the feed gets put down twice a day, and then we also keep pushing it up closer to the cows so that we make sure that they can reach it. When the cows are done eating and drinking, they get to lay down in what we call a free stall. They are bedded with sand, and we bed those every other week with fresh sand. We clean them every day when we push the cows to the parlor, because it's important we keep the beds clean to make sure their cows' udders are clean as well. Every time the group goes to the parlor, we take a machine in here, a skid steer or a bobcat, and they push the manure from the cows out into the pits. So 3 times a day we clean up where the cows live. And then that manure from the cows gets to go onto our fields, and we use that as fertilizer. So it's kind of a continuous thing. And then that grows the crop that then the cows eat, and then again they make manure. We have these things here where the cows stick their heads to eat through. If we need to do things to them, like vaccinate them or just check on them, those things help us keep the cows standing right there so that we can do what we need to do to them. And as you can see, these girls still have all their numbers in their ear. So when they were a little baby, like you saw in those touches, they had that tag in their ear, and it's still the same tag now. And her little file in our program in our computer has kept track of everything that's been happening with her entire life.
Can you keep track of how much milk they produce with those ear tags?
So once a month, we actually have a company come in here and we take milk samples of each cow. And also then we know what their milk is made out of, how much fat and how much protein is in that cow's milk. And so we have a test every month for the cows.
Who are some other people that come to the farm and help you take care of the cows?
So we have a nutritionist that helps us make the ration. The ration is what we call the food they eat, their feed. So he comes. We have a veterinarian that helps us make decisions on treating the cows, helps us do any types of surgeries that would have to happen, which does not happen very often. So they come in, and basically those are the two main people who help us do what we need to do here, which is taking care of the cows and feeding them the best we can. So I mentioned before that cows drink a lot of water. You could think in the sense that a cow drinks like a bathtub full of water. They need a lot of water. They're big. They have big bodies to fill.
How much do they weigh?
It can kind of depend on the cow, but they're well over 1,000 pounds. You know, you get some really big ones that can be 1,600 pounds. So it can kind of vary. And in this barn, we actually have this side of the barn. These girls on this side have only had one baby, so they're kind of the younger moms, and they'll usually be smaller because they have some growing to do yet. And on our other side of our barn, we keep all the bigger moms together, the older moms, and so that group of cows are usually bigger. So I mentioned before that they lay on a freestall, and there's sand in those. And in this side of the barn, you can really see because there's not, this group is coming back from the parlor right now. So there's some empty ones, but it's all nice and just soft sand. And so that provides a lot of comfort to the cows. They just kind of lay down in there. And in the summer, that sand stays nice and cool. So that keeps the cows comfortable as well. But that helps keep the bacteria that can get into their udder really low. Because the sand doesn't carry very much. But it's mainly also for the comfort of the cow because she's got to rest in order to make milk as well for us.
So it looks like you create a really nice environment for the cows and just a safe habitat for them to live in. That looks so nice.
Yes, the comfort of the cows is very important to us.
Mm-hmm. We've had a few questions about how old are the cows when they start to produce milk.
Okay, so when a baby is born, we call that a heifer, and she goes through about 2 years. So we'll breed her around 12, 13, 14 months old, and it brings her to about 24 months, 2 years old, that she'll have her first calf. And that's what we shoot for. So when they're 2, they'll have their first calf, and they usually have one calf a year. And cows can live a really long time. I have some cows here who are 12. I have some cows here that are 8. It kind of just depends how healthy they stay. And they got to have babies to keep making milk as well. And so there's a few things that play into that, but they can live a really long time.
So if they have to have babies, I'm guessing you have just girl cows on your farm then.
Yes, we just have girl cows. Just girl cows here.
Oh,
so there might have been some horns on a few cows just sticking out, and that's always a question, is those must be boys, but that's not true because girls can have horns too. So we only have girls here though.
And they all look different. They're just beautiful cows.
Yes, yeah, it's fun to see all the different markings, but I always kind of say it's just like us. No two people are the same. No two cows are the same.
Do they usually lay down to sleep, or will they sleep standing up?
They lay down to sleep. When they
Okay.
stand, they're eating or just hanging out. But if they're really sleeping and resting, they're down in their stall, in their free stall, laying on the sand.
We've had another question a couple times actually. Do the cows go outside of the barn?
So there's a couple of the alleys to get to the parlor where the cows will go outside, but otherwise we keep them inside in the barn. It's better for the cow. We keep them out of the elements outside. When it's really hot outside, they wouldn't be able to get enough shade. In the water, the rain, and in the winter it's cold. And there's you would need a lot of ground, a lot of pasture to be able to put all these cows in. And then in that sense of it, there's a little bit of an environmental thing that goes along with that. So we just keep the cows safe and protected inside the barn where it's best suited for them.
We also had a question on how much do the calves weigh when they're born?
How much do the calves weigh when they're born?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so the little brown ones, the jerseys, they're pretty small when they're born, and they can be around 50 pounds. They're pretty tiny. And then the black and white ones, the Holsteins, they can kind of average. There's some that will be pretty big, and they can be 100 or maybe even a little bit more than that. I would kind of say on average, we would probably be around the 80, 90 pounds for a Holstein calf.
Okay, and you mentioned that they get vaccinations when they're first
Yes.
born. So that's just
Yep.
like our parents do for all of us.
Yes.
That we get those
Yep.
vaccinations too.
Yep. So as soon as they're born, they get just a vaccine that we spray into their nose, actually. And that just protects them from any virus or bacteria that can get in their nose. And along with that, they get the milk from their mom, which is colostrum. We feed them 2 feedings of colostrum to make sure they get all the good antibodies from their mom. And that will help keep them healthy as a calf.
I've seen that before. That's a really big bottle, isn't it?
Yes, they get a lot of colostrum.
About how many calves are born in a day?
On average, we probably run around 10 to 12 a day here. It can get as crazy though as we had a day where there was 36 in one day. So some days are a little busier than others, and then there's some days where we might only have 5. But it's around 10-ish or so a day.
That's great. So do you ever get a snow day or a holiday?
We don't get a snow day or a holiday. Every day, these girls need to be taken care of. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, when school is canceled, it doesn't matter. We're here and we're taking care of them and we're milking them because that's what we have to do. And I had mentioned earlier how the brown cows have higher fat and protein in their milk, but that is not where the chocolate milk comes from. So chocolate milk doesn't come out of any of these girls. We have to make that.
So all the milk is just white when it comes out?
All the milk is white. We add the chocolate in.
And it tastes so good too.
It does.
So do you have a favorite cow?
Do I have a favorite cow? Yes, there are a couple in here that actually have a special ear tag that's purple, and they are our little farm pets. So they're all our pets actually, but those are a little extra special pets. So if people ever ask me if I have pets, I have a lot of pets. I have 1,600 pets.
Yes, you do. That is a lot of pets. Well, we've had a lot of great questions today, and we appreciate everyone that joined us. Again, if you want to, yep.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for coming to the tour. I'm so happy to show you what we do here. We're proud of what we do, and I hope you guys will consume those dairy products.
Yep, yeah, not just the dairy products, but we want to hit all of the food groups every day. Our fruits and our vegetables, grains, and our proteins. Make sure we're getting all of that every day, and you can use My Plate as a resource. In fact, that's one of the resources we do have at our website at milkmeansmore.org. And you can also learn more about how the dairy cows are taken care of in milking, and then also the processing, and learn about how cheese is made and yogurt is made, so you can go on and find the different goods that are produced from the milk that the cows give us. So one question we did have, I want to make sure we get answered, is how long does it take the milk to get from your farm to the students?
Okay, so our milk leaves here within 24 hours to the processor. And when it arrives there, they process it. So in the grand scheme of things, it's like 2 days, 48 hours before it would be ready to be consumed.
Wow, so the milk that leaves there today, somebody could be drinking that on Friday.
Yes, yep.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Very fresh.
Well, we want to make sure again that we ask everyone to fill out the post-tour survey so that we can bring the best possible tours to you in the future. And so let's thank Aubrey again. Give her a big round of applause, along with Aubrey, the calves, and all the cows on the farm. And we also want to thank Dan from Shiftology and all his help in bringing these tours to you. So thank you very much, and bye-bye, and everyone have a great day. Bye.